I thought he was the love of my life. I thought we were building a future together. But when I tried to buy a coffee and my card was declined, I realized the man sleeping next to me was actually a monster who had stolen my entire soul. I remember the first time I met Tyler. He had this smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the world. I was 22, just starting my life in Chicago, and he was everything I thought I wanted. He was charming, attentive, and he always knew exactly what to say when I was stressed about my new marketing job. We moved in together after 6 months. It felt right. It felt safe. But looking back, the red flags were there. I just chose to see them as confetti. He would ask to use my laptop, saying his was glitching. He would ask for my social security number, claiming he was adding me to his insurance policy because he cared about my future. I gave him everything, because that's what you do when you love someone, right? But then, the small things started happening. My mail started going missing. I'd get notifications about password changes on accounts I hadn't touched in months. When I asked Tyler, he would just pull me close, whisper into my ear, and tell me I was just being paranoid, that I was working too hard. "Trust me, baby," he would say. "I've got everything under control." I believed him, until that Tuesday morning. I was at the local cafe, trying to pay for a simple latte. The cashier looked at me with pity as the machine beeped. Declined. I tried another card. Declined. I opened my banking app and my heart, it just stopped. My balance wasn't just zero, it was negative $10,000. There were loans I never took out, credit cards I never applied for, and a new car registered in my name that I had never even seen. I sat in my car, hands shaking, the silence of the street feeling like a heavy blanket. I realized every time he kissed me, he was probably thinking about how much more he could take. Every time he said, "I love you," he was calculating the value of my credit score. The man I was sharing a bed with had erased me. He didn't just take my money, he took my identity. He took the girl I was and turned her into a ghost of debt. I didn't go home immediately. I went to the library, used a public computer, and started digging. What I found shattered the last pieces of my heart. Tyler hadn't just used my name for a car. He had used my identity to sign a lease on a luxury apartment downtown, an apartment where he was living a double life. He had another girlfriend. I found her Instagram, and there he was. In my name, using my credit, buying her designer bags, taking her to dinners I was currently paying for with interest. The betrayal, it wasn't a sharp pain. It was a cold, hollow, freezing sensation that started in my chest and moved to my fingertips. I went home that night, and I watched him. He was sitting on the couch, watching a game, acting like the perfect boyfriend. "Rough day at work, honey?" he asked, his voice so smooth, so fake. I had to bite my tongue so hard it bled, just to keep from screaming. I had to play the part. I had to be the paranoid girl he wanted me to be, just for a little longer. I waited until he fell asleep. I took his phone, the one I was paying the monthly bill for, and I used his thumb to unlock it while he breathed softly next to me. The messages, they were everywhere. He laughed about me. He called me his ATM. He told his friends how easy it was to play the sweet girl. I felt like I was drowning. My vision blurred with tears, but I couldn't let them fall. Not yet. I saw the documents he had scanned. My passport, my birth certificate, all stored in a hidden folder. He was planning to leave. He was going to take one final massive loan in my name and disappear to another state with her. I realized if I didn't act now, I would be in prison for his crimes or bankrupt for the rest of my life. He didn't just want my money, he wanted to bury me so he could walk away clean. I looked at him, sleeping so peacefully, and the love I felt died right there. In its place was something cold, something sharp, a need for a revenge. I didn't call the police, not yet. I knew if I did it the right way, he might slide through the cracks. No, I needed to shut down his entire life. I spent the next 3 days moving like a shadow. I contacted the banks, but I didn't report the fraud immediately. Instead, I updated the contact information on every single account he had opened. I changed the recovery emails to a new one he couldn't access. Then, I moved to the luxury apartment he'd leased. I contacted the landlord, showing my ID, showing I was the primary signer. I told them I was terminating the lease immediately due to personal safety issues. I had the locks changed while he was at work. But the best part was the car. The car he loved so much, the one I was paying for. I reported it stolen. I waited at our old apartment, with all his bags packed and sitting on the curb. When he pulled into the driveway, in the car he thought was his, I was standing there. "I know. Tyler," I whispered, my voice barely a breath. "I know everything." His face went from confusion, to fear, to a dark, ugly anger. "You're crazy," he spat. "You can't do anything. My name isn't on any of the debt. You're the one who's ruined, not me." I smiled, and it was the first time I felt warm in days. "Actually," I said, "I just finished talking to the IRS. And the FBI. See, you didn't just steal my identity. You used it to funnel money from your side business, which turned out to be wire fraud. And since I've spent the last 48 hours documenting every login from your IP address to my accounts, the paper trail doesn't lead to me. It leads straight to you." The sound of the sirens, it was like music. The police pulled up behind the stolen car. They didn't ask questions. They saw the stolen vehicle, they saw the man who didn't match the registration, and they saw the folder of evidence I handed them. He lost everything. The apartment, gone. The car, gone. The other girl, she blocked him the moment she realized the rich guy was just a thief using a 24-year-old's credit card. I watched them put him in the back of the car. He looked at me, begging, "Please. I love you." I just turned around and walked away. Resolution. It took me 2 years to fix my credit. 2 years to stop checking the locks 3 times before I went to bed. But today, I bought my own house. In my own name. With my own money. He's still in a cell, thinking about the girl he tried to erase. But he didn't realize you can't erase someone who is willing to burn the whole world down to find herself again. If you have ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, tell me your story in the comments. Don't let them win. Like and subscribe for more stories of justice.